update is, wow guys, I didn't even know where to begin. I'm honestly so grateful for all the support, advice, beautiful messages and awards that you guys have gifted. I wish I could personally thank each and every one of you. I did try my best to reply to every message. You guys are honestly so amazing and I cried reading all the comments. My heart has never been so touched with the amount of love and support I got on this post, and I'm so sorry if it took too long to post an update. I was honestly in so much shock I didn't know how to cope with it. So I never got back to my ex. I didn't know what to do, but eventually he must have given my phone number to my parents as they texted asking to meet up. I never replied and was planning on organising a Zoom meeting but didn't need to as they also showed up at my door. Well, my father did. When I answered the door and saw him standing there, I ended up throwing up, which he insisted on cleaning. Wow. When he was done, we sat down and I just bursted into tears. My emotions were all over the place and my father has worn the same cologne for a really long time, so when I smelt it, it brought back all these memories. He tried to hug me, but I pushed him away and asked what he was doing here. He went on to explain he and my mother are getting a divorce. He said he begged my mother to get in touch with me the minute I left, but she refused and said I was acting like a baby, and if I wanted to leave them after doing something so horrible, then I could do things on my own from then on.
Oh God.
I asked him how long did it take for them to notice I was gone. He said they arrived back home after New Year's Eve and were planning on inviting me over so we could talk. That's when they got in touch with my friend and she told them that I left and she didn't know where I was. I asked him why didn't he listen to my side of the story and why did they throw me away so easily. Oh, this is so heartbreaking. Imagine having this conversation with your parents. Ouch. He just started crying. He said he never meant for things to get so out of hand and he wishes more than anything that he could take it all back. I said, when they found out Nicky was taking drugs and had dropped out of xxx, don't know what that is.
High school.
Dropped out of high school, they didn't throw her away. Instead, we all went on a holiday so she could focus on things besides drugs. And during that trip, she got hooked on alcohol and each time they defended her over and over. He said he had no idea my mother was going to kick me out, so he thought it was going to be for a few days, but then they decided last minute to spend Christmas out of state. My mother apparently promised him I would be allowed back home after they got back. I said she threw away all my stuff, but he said everything was still there and she lied about that. I asked him what has happened to Nicky and he said she is dead to him. He wants nothing to do with her, but my mother has been crying to him, asking to forgive Nicky as she is not well and they had already lost one daughter. They cannot lose two. He blocked my mother and Nicky has been on my ex's case about finding me. Why is Nicky still in contact? Why is she still in contact with the ex?
Is she not married?
He blocked my mother and Nicky and has been on my ex's case about finding me. My ex caved in when my dad said he blocked my mother and Nicky told him where I lived. I asked that he never show up again unless I give him permission and he agreed. He asked what would happen now and I said I really don't know and that he hurt me really bad. I then just went into detail about how much he hurt me and what it felt like seeing them so happy without me and how hard it has been. We were both crying by the end of it, but I was really glad I got it all out. It felt like a huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. My dad then said he knew a few places around the area and would help me get a better apartment, and he said that he would help get a better job. But I told him I wouldn't be leaving this job as my boss helped me out so much and I wanted to repay him at all costs. I said I didn't want him to do anything for me, but I said I do want to reconcile, but it has to be on my own terms and it is going to take a very, very long time to trust him again, and I may never trust him again. He said he would do anything to make up for what he did. I asked him why Nicky did this and if she said anything about it.
Okay.
Well, she said she thought my ex deserved better than me and she wanted to see him happy because he was making too many sacrifices in the relationship. She loved him like a brother and wanted to break the engagement off. So that night she asked her friend to come and escort me out of the club so she could get photos and take me home so her plan could work.
What?
She said nothing sexual happened. I went to sleep on the sofa and that was it. He was up playing video games all night until I woke up, which he has proof of, apparently.
That is mad.
My dad was planning on getting my stuff from my mother's house and bringing it to me, but I told him I didn't want any of those things anymore. I then went to ask about Nicky's husband, and he said my mother has been hush-hush with the entire situation, but he had his number and wrote it down for me. Oh my god.
This is getting juicy.
This is poetic justice.
This is. Okay, what's happening? Tell me.
After my dad left, I decided to call Nicky's husband. I was sweating the entire time and felt so sick. What if I could hear her in the background? Anyhow, when he picked up, I just spit everything out, which I deeply regret because I should have eased into it for him.
Good.
He sounded really confused and I explained the entire situation again. I even went into detail about her drug and alcohol problems. I was honestly expecting him to curse me out and defend Nicky. Instead, he let out a long sigh, and well, it turns out he had a feeling she wasn't exactly innocent, and it turns out her and his sister have been having problems as she has been spouting non-stop lies about his sister and has caused a huge rift between them. His sister didn't even attend their wedding. I told him I was sorry, but he should make things right with his sister because Nicky was the problem and not her. We spoke a little more and he hung up. I'm not entirely sure what he's going to do with that information. I hope he cuts his losses and leaves her because he sounded like a really nice person, and even he has lost his own sister because of Nicky.
Nicky.
So I have decided to reconcile with my dad. My mother has always run the show their entire marriage, so the fact that he's putting his foot down and divorcing her shows he is serious about wanting to make amends. I don't think I will ever reconcile with my mother as she thinks Nicky is a victim also in all of this, and at this point I don't care to listen to her excuses. If she reaches out and we talk, I will update the post again. Oh, this girl's very active. For my ex, I haven't had the time to meet with him and talk, though my dad mentioned he wanted to come with my dad, but he told him I would be too overwhelmed if we were both there, and seeing them separated will help make clear decisions. He also mentioned my ex was arrested for assaulting Nicky's friend who lied about the entire situation. He was being charged, but the charges were dropped a few days later. I will update the post again when I have the time to speak to my ex. Thank you guys for being so patient and so caring and just amazing.
Poetic justice it's just amazing when it all comes together and it's like sealed in a beautiful red ribbon and it's given to you. So
how do you feel about her telling Nicky's husband?
I think she deserves to. I think 2 years I would have just got over it.
I thought that was a little bit salty. Like, I understand the pain and the drama that she's been through.
Helped
I get
him. Nah, but come on. Someone does that to you, ruins your entire life. What, you're not even going to spew a little bit of hate? And maybe, I don't think she had the time to really reflect on the I don't know, she could have just let it go. The number. She's got the number.
She could have just let it, I don't know, I just feel like, you know what, this toxicness should have just died with the original girl.
I think I get that, but when you're in that situation and you've got the number in your hand,
I don't care for their relationship. All I'm going to do is focus on my health, my happiness. Do you know what I mean? It's like I had to drop one last bomb at Nicky before I put the mic down and exited this family forever. Like, it's a little bit dramatic.
It's dramatic, but I think it works for some. I can understand why she did it. I just think it's going to make her feel any better.
I just think everyone's little showdown side is going to think that that was a good thing to do.
I agree.
But really and truly, she was already out of the equation. She had the opportunity to tell her dad. Her dad also told her why Nicky did this. She got all the information that she needed, and she could have just let it go and just moved on with her life.
Feeling in the back
and I have a feeling this ex-fiance is going to come back and she's going to get back with her family. Come on, this is family at the end of the day.
She's going to get back with her family.
That's it. You fight and then you get back together. Honestly, she just didn't need to do that. As like a final,
but let me give you another perspective.
Stick the knife in and twist it.
But for someone that had to sit on that situation for so long,
2 years,
I think it's harder it's easy said than done to just be like, you've had 2 years, get over it.
It's not I'm not saying get over it. I'm not trying to invalidate her.
And in her mind, she's got a situation
it's just,
that's been handed to her.
Did she really need to contact the husband? Could she not have just spoken to Nicky and told her how? Like, do you know what I mean?
I think she was just being petty and she thought, F it.
You know, I don't
Let's
really
just throw
think
the
it's
bombs.
the right thing to do. It's not really going to do anything for her situation. It's not going to give her any...
But it helped Nicky's husband understand his situation.
True.
Because he realised that his sister
True,
and Nicky,
true.
you know, there were situations happening there. I think maybe in your mind you're like, she should have just been the bigger person around
I just think they're siblings. And, you know, honestly, I do understand that what happened between them is something massive, and I can't even imagine this happening between siblings. I do get it, but at the end of the day, like, the family, that's family.
Did Nicky think about that, though?
Nicky didn't care, no.
So
But Nicky's got, you know, she's got a history of just doing some crazy things, you know what I mean?
But is it fair to assume that the passive good person that this happened to is always going to be good? I feel like in movies and in life we just assume people are just gonna. I mean, she might have a dark side to her, and she might just thought, F it.
It's not necessarily like good.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think I wouldn't judge her for it.
I just thought it was a little bit petty, to be honest.
I do agree with that.
It's not, you know, you don't necessarily need to fight petty with petty. Do you know what I mean? It's like, right, you've done this to me. Now you've got to live with that decision. I think that was enough. But then to come back and say, right, I've got the number for the husband, let me call him up and just tell him everything, so as to ruin her and Nicky's relationship. Okay, like, I can see where it's coming from. I can see where the anger's coming from.
And I think she didn't have much time when that father came and he gave her that number. I think she was just amped up. And also
From having
all
had
of
that
that
conversation
information.
with her father.
Yeah, she just saw him. Everything's coming back. She's more angry at why her life has been ruined. Imagine you have like your whole life you've left, and you've started this whole brand new life for 2 whole years because of this woman. Do you know what I mean? I could see why she would be triggered by that.
But I would have just beat her up. Well, like, this is siblings at the end of the day. I just don't understand why
you would have just been like,
in
the middle of a kitchen table.
What is this? Going back and forth, going between family members. I feel like she just knocked her out.
Certain families have a lot more toxicity than others. And I feel like in your mindset, you're very much of the school of thought where you argue, you fight it out, and you get over it tomorrow.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? This situation, she took it to the new level.
And also, you know what? Another thing is, I'm not trying to victim blame or anything, but when Nicky said that stuff, why the hell did she not do some psychological shit to invalidate Nicky? I would have been like, what the hell are you talking about? Why are you making this up? You know, just get in their head. But she just took it.
She crumbled.
She crumbled.
Yeah.
But look what he's doing. Yeah, he was escorting me to my taxi. What?
What's the problem?
Do
Yeah,
you know
she
what
didn't
I mean?
argue back. But then again, she had like 10 people against her.
No,
And
it's
she
because
reacted.
Nicky, I feel like Nicky had previously, you know, she prepped them.
But that's what I'm saying. This family believed the story too quickly.
I just think
So that's what makes me think. What is it about her character that makes them believe that she would do that? It's just the fact that they exiled her. That's the issue.
That's the only bit that I don't agree with. I'm not gonna lie.
Like,
That's the only bit that's a little bit fishy.
Like, what mum would do that?
Maybe the mum
to her kid?
secretly hates the daughter as well.
I feel like the biggest problem here is
It's the mum. I don't even think it's the siblings.
I think Nicky was chatting shit. She did something cool, whatever. Like, no one believes you. Go away.
Yeah.
But the mum.
For the mum to then believe Nicky, that is where this escalated from.
Yeah. Because the reaction, if the mum just simmered the whole situation down and said, girls, get in the other room, we'll have a chat.
Yeah.
You guys go home.
Exactly.
Do you
You
know
lot
what
go
I mean?
home.
We'll talk
you
about
two get
it
in that
tomorrow.
room, talk about what's happened. The
Yourself.
mum should have been the passive person, the mediator, the one that says, no, but we need to understand from the other perspective.
Yeah.
No, but. She didn't do that. She took Nicky's side.
And why did the mum not understand her own
And then the
daughter's
dad,
character?
you know what the dad should have done when he saw the mum piping up and taking that daughter's side? He should have been like, excuse me,
we're not
you
kicking
lot
my
can't-
daughter out.
Yeah, we're not kicking my daughter out. You can't speak to her like this. This is my daughter, this is my blood. Well, Gurigedi when Chogi said this is her house, she's staying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just find this, I don't know, man. Nicky and her mum, Habahan.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Let them go.
I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of deep-rooted toxicity that we can't explore here.
It's not even deep-rooted toxicity. It's just siblings.
No,
Nicky,
but no one is that
Nicky
evil.
and her
couple.
sister is siblings. Yeah,
even the mum's relationship is weird.
The contents of what
this
happened
scenario
is
weird.
crazy. I get that. But Nicky and her sister, that's their problem.
That's their beef.
It's their dynamic. That's their situation. The fiance, the mother-in-law, the mother, the father shouldn't have got involved.
Fiance maybe, because that's the girlfriend and him. That's his situation.
Okay, yeah, but
But the mum.
But fiance, I
And
get
the
it
parents,
because you know he's also implicated in this. But the rest of them,
They should not get involved. No.
And then it would have been if it was just between those three, it would have been a who does the fiance believe? Do you know what I mean? And then that's when we could have grasped
the reality of
what
the
kind
situation.
of person he was.
Yeah. Is he going to believe Nicky, who's a whisperer in his ear?
He's a brother to me. He helps me
No,
with my
shut up!
problems.
Brother Namahe. It's not your brother. What the hell?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
No. But still, may Allah protect us from people like Nicky in our lives. Because there are actual people that tell real lies.
Yeah.
Not even porkies, real lies. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever met someone that like just lies constantly?
I know, but you start to learn
when the lie's happening.
Yeah, no, but you realise that this person is lying.
But you know, there's people that tell stories that exaggerate the story, but it makes the story interesting.
I don't mind an exaggerator.
But I don't
mind an embellisher.
Yeah.
But when someone flat out lies to make themselves look as though more appealing in the eyes of someone else, that's a big problem.
That is. And you know what? Your lies catch up to you because then you forget. You forget
that you lied. And then you're like, hold on a minute, didn't you say that
you
were...
Didn't you just say that? And then you get caught out and you'll be a little
Game over.
Game over. Anyway, guys, I think that is the end of that scenario. To me, I think it had a somewhat poetic justice type of ending, although some things didn't need to get to where they got to. And I just think, each to their own.
You know what? I genuinely believe in my soul the girl, the original victim, well, the only victim. I just feel like the girl should have just stuck to her guns a bit more. And when they were all cornered her.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think she should have stuck up for herself in that situation.
But she should have been like, what are you talking about? And then just had an explanation for everything that Nicky's had as evidence. Do you know what I mean? If she gave it too easily to Nicky. Too easy. She gave it up to her. And she knows who her sister is. She already said in the beginning that she's always been quite cold.
This character, yeah.
Exactly.
But I don't know if
she should have played the game.
This big lie.
She should have played.
This was an EastEnders episode.
I know.
With producers, she had cast members, she had everything.
I know. She had backup ready. She had her
boom,
team.
boom, boom. And I can see
she had production.
Basically, she
behind
did.
her.
And I can see why not Nicky, the sister, was just taken back by this.
I know. It's true though. When you're in a situation where you're ganged up on, I'm not gonna lie. I'll just start crying. You know when you just feel so wronged? Have you ever? Wallahi, there's only two situations in which I cry in, and it's if an injustice hasn't happened to me. Well, I have no choice. Well, I can't even control it. My eyes.
No, because your body just erupts. You react.
you know, there's the cries where you're like. And the second one is when someone close to me dies.
Oh, yeah. You know when I cry after a fight.
Really?
Yeah. So I won't cry, like any time I have a heated conversation with someone, I cry afterwards. I can't, because in my, I can't.
You can't let
people see me in that really weak position. But literally after the altercation or the argument or whatever has happened, and my adrenaline's come down, I just crash. I start crying, and then I like have to do something to make myself get over it. But it's like an ugly cry. It's like a Kim cry. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think I've actually seen, like, except when we were younger.
I don't think you've ever seen me cry now.
Not for a long time.
Yeah, because I cry with myself, which is
you're one of those people. Holly's like the sort of crier that just has the one tear.
No, I don't. I've got like everything.
I've never seen. I don't think I've ever seen your ugly cry. Like not bar when you were young, but really? in like the last few years, I
keep it to myself, which isn't a good thing.
You'll get the tears in your eye, and then sometimes you'll have the wrong.
Like, I've got a condition where when I'm in the cold, my eyes water, so people don't actually know
whether or not she's crying. Or
but if you guys ever see me on road and I'm crying, like sometimes when I'm walking from work, I cry. So sad.
Was that like a real tears or was that windy tears?
No, it's windy tears, but if I'm like really emotional, I'll cry. But like if my eyes are red and my nose is sniffly, like you know I'm crying. But yeah, that's the point. But I really feel like, and you know, when I was younger, I'm going to tell you guys a funny story. Quran school, I had a really traumatic day. My Quran teacher was really pissing me off. She was really picking on me at this point. And the tension was getting too much, and it got to the point where she made me. And this is my problem, can I say, because I didn't learn my Quran over the week, so I didn't know much. So she made me. Do you know what I mean? So she made me read out loud in front of everyone. I still remember the embarrassment.
Was I there?
No, you weren't. It was in. Shout out to Dar es Salaam if you guys ever went there. So she made me read out in front of everyone, and I was not. I just couldn't. I was like, okay.
Oh no, that's the worst.
And then I was like, honestly, I don't know it. Can I read it another day? Can I read it next week? I make sure I learn it. She was like, no, read it. She's trying to make a point of me, or the situation, an example out of me. Sorry, my English is crazy. So then, after that situation, I finished it, like, I had to do hijab instead of reading the Quran. Do you know what I mean? That's how bad it was. Stop. So hijab is like when you have to, like, you know when kids are doing phonetics and they're like
sounding it out.
Yeah, they're like cat. So here's me trying to read out the Quran in this way. Oh guys, I'm crying now. And I went through an entire 3 pages going.
How long did that take you?
It took so long.
Sometimes you know what it is though, when you're in those situations, you just got to put your head down and just do it.
Anyway, I did it, and then the adrenaline left, and I said, "Can I go to the toilet, please?" And I started like howling in the toilet. I started howling in the toilet, yeah. And then this mum was. Wait, let me calm down. Then there was this mum that was doing wudu, so that's like ablution in the toilet. So she was really washing her hands and everything. And then I came out the toilet, she saw my face red, she just walked out and she was shaking her head, yeah.
Why?
I don't know. And then when I went back into the masjid, and I was, sorry guys, and then when I went back into the masjid to go sit down with the other lesson, she called me over, she was like, Habriyar.
Was it the same teacher?
No, it was a mum that was in the toilet just doing her wudu. She was like, Auntie, you shouldn't. She was like, I'll say it in Somali first. She goes, that means don't ever in your life cry in the toilet. And I was trying to act like, what the hell, shut up. Like, I'm already embarrassed as it is. She goes, don't ever cry in the toilet because the shaitan is watching you. Which means the shaitan's watching you. Satan's watching you. And I was like, to that day, that story, it just reminds me of just how I had such a traumatic day that
can
day.
We just say, Somali mums and a lack of empathy. That is the perfect example. So instead of commenting on your disheveledness,
on my
fact that your face is puffy,
and it's not even, I was howling in the toilet. I wasn't even quiet crying. I was literally going, ah. Do you know what I mean? Because I felt bullied. So she didn't even address that. She just said, Willie, that's and that to me was the most traumatic day of my life.
That is the conclusion right there. And that is Somali mums for you.
Literally. So yeah, that was my little story, guys.
Not all of them. Not all of them. I love my Somali mums.
We do, they're funny. Anyway, guys, that is the end of this episode. We really hope you've enjoyed it. We just want to say thank you so much for all the support.
All the downloads.
If you get us to 10,000 downloads, we are partying hard with you. Okay, maybe not. But it's the winter, we're anemic. But anyway, let's continue. But the point is, we really appreciate you guys, honestly, and we love you. Thank you to the YouTube people for still following us.
Honestly, I thought our YouTubers were going to go down, but alhamdulillah. Thank you guys.
Power to the people.
Power to the ones that are watching both the YouTube and the podcast. That is what I call a real fan.
We do. We love you guys.
Honestly, you guys are the best. If you enjoyed this scenario, please leave a nice review.
Please.
A little cheeky 5 stars.
Ding, 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 ding.
And we'll see you next week on the Oversharers podcast.
Bye.